This is the Unexpected Podcast. And hello, everyone out there, and hi to you, Lee.
Hi.
For those of you all joining us for the first time, this is the Unexpected Podcast. Maybe you have seen this once or twice or listened to us
Be sure to
through
subscribe.
Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Anywho.
Subscribe.
Can I finish my sentence?
Subscribe.
Can I finish my sentence?
I don't know.
I was just going to say to those who haven't listened before, the original introduction, as you remember, stated that, this is a podcast where hosts Lee and Amy carry on simple conversations about everything from life experiences, the current culture, God, and everything in between. And of course, the original premise is that Lee does not have prior knowledge to the topic being discussed.
I have no idea what's going on.
And guess what?
Clueless.
I don't either half the time.
Clueless for me.
This, I believe, will be episode
55.
55. Okay. So we've been going at this for a little over a year, and it's been an adventure.
Yep.
Life has been an adventure, not just doing a podcast. Life has been a big time adventure.
What an adventure.
Yeah, and we won't get into all those details at the moment.
No.
But
we might cry a little bit.
We might cry. Maybe we'll laugh too. I'm sure we'll laugh.
I'll
But
laugh instead of crying.
yeah.
Coping
So,
mechanism.
okay, instead of crying about our current state and our current situation and some of the challenges we're facing in
I
life.
like living in Tennessee. The current state.
Yeah, puns.
Yeah.
Okay, Lee's known for his bad puns, which is why he might end up in the penitentiary. Ba-do-boo. Okay, but rather, than thinking about just today and what's going on right now, I want all of us, those of you listening, as well as myself and you, Lee, to think about the things that we dreamed of being or doing as a child, and then think about how that informs who we are now.
Oh, wow.
Like, how does that play out in our lives now? So in other words, those things that we maybe dreamed of doing or being as a child, was that just a temporary farce? In some cases, maybe we saw someone doing something on television. We thought that would be cool.
Yep.
But a lot of times there's a reason that a child might be drawn to a particular occupation, to a particular type of activity. So let's just start with you. When you were young, what are some of the things that you dreamed of doing or being when you grew up?
First thing that I wanted to be was a doctor.
Okay.
I wanted to be a doctor. And then I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
But I would go around and if the dogs were sick or if I got a cut or if somebody got a cut, I wanted to fix it. I wanted to, be the one that helped.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was a very helpful, probably got in the way a lot. Because we had horses that needed doctoring, and we had dogs, and I had a pet raccoon, and I had
because everybody has one of those.
Yeah, so a lot of different animals, hamsters, rabbits and different things.
Now, how old were you when you first wanted to be a doctor?
Probably
when you
5
thought
or
about
6.
that? Okay.
I started.
What do you think started that? In particular?
Just going to the doctor. I thought it was cool.
Okay.
Seeing doctors on TV.
Okay.
Seeing, that they were helping people, and
Okay.
I really did have a good heart. I really wanted to be a helpful person and help those who were around me.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I wanted to be a cowboy. And that lasted up until probably high school. I wanted to rope and ride, and so I would ride horses and do all that stuff, which kind of made me think veterinarian or farrier, something like that.
Okay. Some people out there might not know what a farrier is.
So a person to put takes care of horses' hooves and shoeing horses and doing things, kind of like a cowboy blacksmith kind of person.
Right. Right.
It's just hoof care, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I understood it to be. I don't know all the aspects of
Okay.
it. Just saw them come work on horses. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. So I had a lot of different ambitions. I wanted to be a really good mechanic at one point. Which I ended up working at dealerships and being an automotive technician. Man, this is a deep one because there were so many things I wanted to do. I wanted to dabble in everything. I wanted to do woodworking. I wanted to do construction, which I've done all this stuff. And
well, that's the thing you and I talk about a lot regarding our own lives is we have so many interests, such a broad variety of interests. What's the phrase? There's a jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than the master of one.
Yeah, there you go. So it pays to know a lot of things.
We forget about that last part.
Exactly.
And that one is, I have become somewhat of a jack of all trades. I've learned how to do a lot of things. But as far as dream-wise, I think my ultimate all-time everything dream would have been to be a singer, songwriter.
You are a singer-songwriter.
Well,
so dream fulfilled.
Yes, but I mean, make a living at it, and actually go out and play music and just watch people. I think everything that I do, I just enjoy watching people get satisfaction out of getting something done for them or helping people reach a goal.
You and I were just talking about this yesterday, how playing music for a crowd, because we love to do that, and we're going to get back into doing more of that.
Yes.
It's in a way, it's like loving on the crowd, because when we go in, we do it, we're having a good time, but I also feel like I feel love for the people that would be there listening. So really so to me, it's interesting in your story, there's sort of a single thread that runs through all of it, and it's all about care and fixing things and making things better. I mean, even being a mechanic. I'm thankful that you had that kind of inclination towards caregiving in the sense of being a doctor or taking care of someone who is injured or ill, because that's paid off in our lives when our kids got injured. Because I don't have that inclination. I don't want to have to like bandage up someone or I certainly couldn't stitch up someone. So, really it's worked out so beautifully when our boys did get hurt, pretty bad, to where there's some blood and something they needed to be tended to. Most of the time you were around, which was such a blessing to me.
Right.
There was the one time where our youngest, he really cut his mouth, and it was like, does he need stitches? Does he not need stitches? I kind of had to deal with that when you weren't around at that time and at the moment, or you were at work, and took him to the doctor, tried to, just do what I could. But it was always nice that you could kind of jump in and take care of people when they're hurt.
And I think that's inherent good. People with good hearts want to help others, and they want to do things for other people. And I think most everybody has that inside of them.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was your main thing? What was your drive?
I would say, well, first there was my passion about astronomy. So I wanted to be an astronomer. My parents bought me a telescope. And I remember having a couple of books that I really loved, all about astronomy. And I think I still have that sort of inclination to be curious about what's in the sky. But through the years, I also realized it wasn't just astronomy that I loved. It was once I had this book on astronomy with all these facts and information that was really a big part of what I loved about it. So that's always kind of been my inclination. The other thing would have been, even though I wouldn't say it out loud, the thing I did as a child a lot was play school. So I always envisioned myself being a teacher. Put the kids in the seats and teach them.
Right.
Of course, I was going to possibly be the place kicker for the Cincinnati Bengals. The first female place kicker. I'd play anything sports related. Of course, I was into. I dreamed of playing music too. Kind of did that. Not that I'm not a singer, so I didn't necessarily truly envision myself doing that, but I always had an inclination to want to play music.
Well, you're a good bass player.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah, so those sorts of things. And then as I got older and the like more realistic look at things, then my plan was to go to medical school, which is so funny because I don't really like medically related stuff, but I loved science. And so I was good in science and math. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do with that? I'll go to college. I'll study biotechnology. And I did. I studied under some, med school professors and that sort of thing. But then really, you know what I always loved? Literature
and books.
So yeah, there
what
you go.
What do you get to do now?
And I get to work with books. That's my job. And work with literature and data and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I've authored a few books. So I always also envisioned writing. So I started doing that at a young age too. Okay, the other one I forgot was architecture. So when I was a kid, I would design floor plans and do all that kind of thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then when I went to college and kind of that interim between, okay, I don't think I'm going to go the science route, and I was thinking of literature or history or something, I went to the Career Center on campus and took 2 different career placement tests, to kind of help you figure out what you should do. And guess what? Both tests said I should do.
What?
Be an architect.
Well, what are we doing sitting here?
Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Yeah, because I think I had this creative side, but also this mathematical side. So I guess that would have been a good way to join those together.
That's a great, architect, field. I mean, the field of being an architect is
I think one deterrent was I had friends who were architecture majors. That was intense. They actually had cots in the architecture building because they spent so many hours there building their models that they would just sleep there.
That sounds like comm arts and when we're editing movies.
Right.
Yeah, for
film
and television.
So many things. I mean, you too. I mean, you had that inclination towards media, obviously, and me as well. I, at one point dreamed of directing films or writing screenplays, so that kind of stuff.
So what we're really trying to say is we're very scattered.
We're very scattered
in what we do, but we have accomplished a few things. Done some stuff. I've recorded an album. I've been able to play in front of thousands of people, and that's pretty awesome.
Right.
We've influenced people. People come up to us all the time. Say, we thank you for doing what you've done, and we get attaboys every once in a while. But
I think this is a great time for those listening or watching to think about that in yourself. Those things, and we'd love to hear from you. And
leave
please,
a comment.
Yeah, please do. It'd be great to hear what are the kinds of things that you were interested in when you were younger, and how does that speak to who you are now? I remember one that was really funny. One of my nieces, when she was pretty young, and it's a common question. You ask kids, what do you think you might want to do when you grow up? And she was funny. She said, I want to either be a doctor or drive a backhoe. And I'm like, that's
great.
Awesome.
That is great. And I think that brings up, another point to where you and I as creatives, and you watching, if you've got a creative streak and you wanted to play guitar, you want to draw, you want to do art of some sort, you want to do woodworking or whatever it is, there is nothing wrong with doing it as a hobby and then supporting it with a 9-to-5.
Absolutely.
We get caught up in America that we have to give up the 9-to-5 and go pursue our dream.
Right. And starve,
and all of that.
Yeah.
But I do believe it's a little bit harder to do because you lose heart because you're, the goal that you had of being famous may be off the table.
Right.
But you can be famous in your sphere of influence.
Right.
And that's another thing that I think people miss is you are sent here to influence those who God puts in front of you.
Yeah.
And, we talk about social influencers and, taking on a genre of music or taking on a demographic of people, of listeners. But really, all you're doing is finding a way to have an expression of who you are on the inside,
Right.
brought out to the outside.
Right.
So expressing yourself through art, expressing yourself through different things. Some people have the gift of gab, and they express themselves through speaking. Go speak somewhere. Get a speaking engagement if that's your passion.
Or
go
just
for it.
do it one-on-one.
Do it one-on-one with 5 people. Invite friends over and say, hey, I'd like to talk about this. But there's so many different things. We get caught up in trying to be famous. We get caught up in the stars and.
That's kind of a recent phenomenon because of the way our culture has shifted. And
so everything is saturated with people wanting to be the one.
But what you have to get down to is, first of all, follow the path God has for you, but also know that just because this thing out here seems appealing, it might not be fulfilling. So there have been many people
hear that a lot.
Who, they reach this pinnacle. I was like, I made this album. I thought this was it. And then they find themselves kind of empty. You and I were listening to an interview a couple days ago of Billy Strings. If you guys know, he's a phenomenal guitarist.
Yeah.
And what I thought was so interesting was he's out there doing the thing that many people dream of, which is gigging all the time. Out there playing
everywhere.
Concerts everywhere. But he said really, not that he doesn't enjoy doing that, but what he really wants is to be in the practice room. And he was making the point that a lot of people were in the practice room just dreaming about being out there playing in front of all these people. And he's like, I just want to be practicing because he has a drive to get better. So the things that are going to fulfill you may surprise you.
Well, he came to he brought it around to this. The reason he plays is because he enjoyed the community in which he was a part of.
Yeah.
Having people around a kitchen table playing guitar and playing a song was just as fulfilling as being out in front of 1,000 people.
Absolutely. Right.
And it wasn't about excuse me. It wasn't about going and being a superstar.
Right.
It was about community. It was about bringing people together, which music and art and theater and all of the things were about people going to work all day long and then having a time of fellowship with everybody around them in the evenings.
Right. The neighbors would gather on the porch.
And play music. I would go to little pickings, guitar playings around here in Cleveland, Tennessee. I've tried to play along with bluegrass folk, but they are fast, and my arm about fell off.
Yeah.
But they, it was about community. It was about getting together and just being. You got a new song, man, play it.
Right.
There's community, and we're a part of a thing called Dreamers. And all you dreamers out there, thank you guys. You inspire us all the time.
Right.
But it's a bunch of creatives all over the world. Literally all over the world, there are dreamers that are a part of this. I don't even know what you call it.
Network.
This crew, this network, this whatever it is.
Right.
And the first time I went, which is kind of ironic, we went to this house, and we didn't really know the people, but we just sat down and started playing music with them. And there was just this surrounding of guitarists and singers and people that were just movie makers and everything in an old cabin, which eventually was bought.
I don't know if you're supposed to say that.
I don't know if we're supposed to say that or not.
Okay, anyway.
But by a certain person,
right?
A famous person,
right?
Which was cool in it also.
Yeah.
It's like, man, we get caught up in these little things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We get to go out to the Johnny Cash farm and play music and do all that stuff. Dreamers meet a lot out there at the old Johnny Cash farm.
And there's always some music that happens.
Always music going on.
Yeah. Well, something you said it's what people used to do. They go to work and then they come home and get with the community. So for a lot of people, it's all about work-life balance. We've just been talking about this.
Yes.
Because when you're the kind of person, and I don't know how you all are, but a lot of people are really driven, the people of integrity. So when you have a job, you want to
be the best.
You want to do well. Yeah. You're a person of integrity. You want to give it your all. But it's all a mindset. And you can get to a place where you give it too much. It's almost like you give it your soul and you don't reserve anything for this other part of your life, for your family, for community, for creativity.
Yeah.
So you have to find that balance a lot of times between, I've got a job and I want to be faithful. But when I leave that, I'm going to come home and leave that there until the next day.
Right. And finding that, I've had that problem. Get so caught up in my work that I forget about all the creativity.
Yeah.
Or I get so caught up in the creativity that I forget about work.
Yeah.
Or having fun. Creativity to me is fun. So making music is fun. I enjoy, getting together with people. But that work-life balance, man, that has taken a while to really learn, because it's not easy. It has to be a focus. It has to be intentional. You have to say, you know what? No, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop right here.
Right. Like when we made up our mind to do this podcast. Now there are days that we don't want to get up and sit upright in a chair. We want to be down on the couch.
Right.
Although we love to do this, but you have to make up your mind, like, and that's a great thing is you can set small goals. Like, what can I do this week to work towards that thing that I love, that I want to do?
Well, the whole premise of this show is for us to spend time and do something together as a couple.
Yeah.
And also to maybe bless somebody with something we said.
Yeah.
Or just get comments and create a community. I mean, really, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Is we're trying to create a community of people who like different subjects and may have an opinion about something and want to share it. And if you want to share it because, I mean, you give if you write something in the comments, then other people are going to read it and it just creates a community. Now, we get negative comments. We get good comments,
That's okay.
Positive comments. Either way, we don't care.
Well, no matter what you're going to do, you got to be a little thick-skinned, and there are people
You
out there
always have
trolling
critics.
on the internet, and that's
we all
fine.
have trollers.
That's okay. We welcome that as well. Yeah, so it's fun to kind of look back and think about things that we used to dream of doing, and it oftentimes says something about ourselves and who we are now.
We're a culmination of everything that's happened to us since birth.
And you know what? This is something I'm learning lately. Don't be afraid to try something new and challenging.
Yeah.
As a person who is a follower of Christ, sometimes I over-spiritualize things, and I think, well, should I really be doing this or that? So I've joined a 3-on-3 basketball league. Okay.
That's awesome.
All right. Which is crazy because I haven't played basketball in years. And so there was a part of me that kind of doubted, like, is this something I really need to do?
I believe in you.
Well, here's the thing. Anything you do that pushes you, it forces you to learn some things about yourself. So I've already learned some things, which lets me know, like, okay, I'm on the right track.
Right.
Maybe I won't do this forever, but, I've learned that I can push myself at this age more than I realized I could.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to just get out there because you're going to learn things about yourself.
Right.
And you're going to grow and expand.
Yep.
So, hey, life's an adventure.
Life's an adventure. Go out, do stuff, have fun, enjoy yourself, and get that work-life balance. Don't forget when you were a kid what you wanted to do.
Right.
And you know what? Some of you have achieved it.
Yeah.
Some of you are still striving for it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you have achieved it and you don't even know it.
Yeah, that's true.
You haven't thought about it.
That's true. That's true. Sometimes we don't realize what we've actually
really
done.
Don't.
We look back and we're like, oh, hey.
Everything I had on my bucket list,
mm-hmm.
just about, has happened.
That's pretty good.
I'm excited. I mean, I've
pretty good.
Played music. I've worked on things. I've met people and created communities, been a part of communities.
Yeah.
Most of all, I came to the saving knowledge of Christ.
That's the main one. The eternal bucket list.
Some peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's time to wrap up.
Wrapping it up.
Right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Please let us know what you think out there and what are some of the adventures that you're getting into.
Yeah.
We love hearing from you guys.
Absolutely.
And we will see you on the next episode.
See you on the flip-flop.
Don't forget to like this video and please subscribe to our channel. Drop your comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you prefer audio podcasts, please follow us on your favorite streaming platform.